Good morning, gang. Good morning. Welcome to this week's Bitcoin update. First and foremost, as usual, remember, nothing we discussed is financial advice. This is my views on the market and for educational purposes only. And now we've got that out of the way, now we can move on. So, what are we looking at? Well, between last week's video and this week's video, we've got a new monthly close. We did close slightly lower than the previous month in August. Again, like we said last week, is that a death sentence? Time will tell. We'll see. Right now, I've got no strong overall bias. We're still range bound. We're still going sideways, and obviously when we start zooming in, we can take a closer look at that. And until that range does break, then I've got no strong overall bias. Weekly, still in a downtrend. We are still printing new lows. Could we start be turning around here? Again, we're still range bound, so I'm not getting overly excited yet. And obviously the daily, we're getting this nice round of bottom here. Is this going to lead to continuation, or is this just going to be something to get everyone bullish and then we start turning around here? Let's wait and see. In terms of the channel that we've been looking at for quite some time, if we pop this back on the chart, we have broken it. So obviously we broke this, what was this, a couple of days ago, so this was on the 4th of October. We did break out and we did get a daily close outside of this. And now obviously we're lingering around up here, which is at the top of these range highs. Is this going to flip me really bullish? No, again, because we've not gone out of this range. And obviously we've been talking about this channel now for months. And yeah, I was looking for a breakout of the channel, but this isn't going to flip my bias and this isn't going to send me into full bull mode, because for all we know, this could just be one overall big fake out to get everyone bullish and then we move back down. It could be a sign that we start moving up, but again, like we've said a few times, we need to start seeing high time frame uptrend. We need to start seeing impulsive structures up on the high time frame to start flipping bias. But even if we do get that, obviously, as we've said over the last few weeks, is we've still got all this to contend with. If we do manage to get out of this range here, we've still got all this to contend with, and each one of these is going to bring a new level of resistance. So this isn't the time for me to start loading up for the long run. If this range continues even longer, then perhaps it will be more of a bottoming structure for me, and I might start looking to take some long-term positions. But at the moment, I'm still cautious. Am I bothered about catching the absolute low with my spot holdings? No, I'm not. What I'm bothered about with my spot holdings is waiting to see a full-on bottoming structure and then start to see high time frame structure changing to the upside. That to me will be enough to trigger spot holdings. I will still be using risk management in those spot holdings, so I won't be just holding and hoping for the best, because if price does reverse on us at some point, even if we go higher and then reverses on us, then we've got to be prepared for everything. So obviously that's what's happening on the big picture. If we then zoom in now, let's zoom into the 4 hour. Let's remove this channel for now, and let's see what's going on. So first and foremost, let's do what we always do, and let's throw on a volume profile. So we were tweeting about this yesterday. Price came back down. We broke through the point of control. We came back through it. Lovely wick, swing failure pattern of the point of control, and now we're going back up, and now obviously we've created this little mini range here. So as long as we're above this point of control, then the bulls have a chance to get up to this region here. Now that would be, for me, either a take profit on longs, if you are long. Now I'm still long from down here. I did take profits up here because this is the local range highs. And if we do manage to break out of this range highs, then this will be my next take profit region, because I do believe we've still got fairly strong resistance up here. We still have a big batch of single prints here in this area. If we zoom down to the 30 minutes, we can still see this So we've got a big batch of single prints coming in here. So how I treat single prints, let's get rid of this fixed range for now. How I treat single prints initially is the lower of the single prints could be considered resistance. If we get back into the single prints, let's just drag this along. If we move up and we don't reject off the bottom of the single prints and we get acceptance into them, then I'll be looking to trade them to the other side. Again, this is overall within this area of interest of mine, which I'll be looking to either A, take profits on longs, and B, looking for a change in market structure to get into shorts. Okay? Now, what if price doesn't manage to get up here? Well, the next thing to consider is, let's just throw on that volume profile again. Let's throw it on so we can see it like this. Here we go. The next thing to consider is the local range that we're in right now. Which this is the local range. Now let's change the colour of this to make it a little bit more obvious. There we go. And here we go. Right, so this is the next thing to consider. So, at the moment, we've got not perfectly equal highs. We do have a slightly lower high here. So could this come back down again? Yes, it could. If price does manage to come back up, then the first thing I'll be looking for, before we get to this, is taking out these highs, coming back down, back into this range, and then trading it back down again. So that's the first thing that I'm looking at. If this does get above and doesn't start to break down, then I'll be looking to come up here. Okay. If price does start to drop from here and starts to roll over, then first and foremost, we've got to take into consideration the overall range point of control, which is for the range going back to June. If it gets below here, then the next point we've got is the EQ, and then the next area that we've got down here is the value area low and the low of this range. Now, if that doesn't hold, then we'll be looking at the overall range lows like we've been saying for quite some time. So if we draw this one on now, let's get rid of this local one. So what happens if we drop? Well, if we do drop and we lose this point of control and we lose this value area low, then ultimately we'll be coming down to these range lows, and like we've been saying for quite a few weeks, I'd like to see a swing failure of this, a reclaim, and then you've got a long trigger there. If you don't see this swing failure pattern and no reclaim and the change of market structure here, then I'll happily hold on to my shorts even longer, and we'll wait for lower prices. It's all about, you need to see this come down and you need to see this quickly get bought up with strong volume, strong market buys, everything coming in. Then we get the change of market structure, then reclaim the range lows, then we've got a long trigger. Don't try to be a hero and catch a knife, because for all we know, if it does come down here, it could just keep dropping. So once again, I'm not setting stink bids down there and hoping for the best. I'll wait for the reaction. If there's no reaction, there's no trade. If there is a reaction, then there's a trade. Okay? And that's what we're looking at there. Obviously, for the lower targets, if price does break down, you've seen that. Go watch the previous videos. We've talked about lower price targets down here. But obviously, at the time being, we're still potentially looking bullish. Because obviously, we're making high, higher low, higher high. Was yesterday potentially a higher low, looking for a higher high. Let's wait and see. So obviously, if you are in shorts, and we have taken a few shorts in the group over the last couple of days, if we zoom into the 15-minute here, we did short this high and we traded it down to the point of control. Then we got it in our longs here and we've traded it back up to the range highs, and that's obviously the local range highs. We're still holding on to this long. I am still in a fresh short from earlier on today, I have taken profit 1 already. My stops are at entry. If this now reverses and stops me out, fair enough, that's not a problem. It's a winning trade in my eyes. And then obviously we'll continue to ride this long up. Now if we do take out these highs and we come up here, swing failure pattern, back in, back down, then that'd be a trigger for a new short, as I've said before. If not, then we'll just ride our longs even higher. Okay. The sentiment on Twitter especially and some YouTubers has flipped insanely bullish. There seems to be a hell of a lot of posts about people saying the bottom's in. But then again, you know, we saw the same thing here. We saw the same thing here. You know, we've seen it a few times. And until we do get that high time frame structure change and we start impulsing up out of here, then I'm sorry, I'm not going to get on board the bull train yet. You know, we're still sideways. We're in a sideways market. Trade it in a sideways market. So obviously we've got the overall range. We've got the small ranges if you want to trade the lower time frames. If not, sit patiently and then wait for your range highs and your range lows. Okay, that's it. It's just level to level at the moment. Key focus at the moment as well is obviously on the stock market. Obviously Bitcoin's highly correlated to SPY. So obviously it's worth keeping an eye on that. SPY obviously did take the overall lows, but Bitcoin didn't, which does show some strength. Does that mean now the bottom's in on the stock market? Well, again, we'll have to wait and see. There's a couple of Elliott wave counts that say it goes lower. There's a couple of Elliott wave counts that say the bottom could be in. I'm personally on the fence, and I'm just trading level to level. I don't really care if the bottom's in or not, because we can still make money in a sideways market. Okay. Next thing to note is, obviously we talked about last week. Let us know in the comments down below what altcoins you want charting, and I'm going to start throwing up a second video every week. I was planning on doing it at the start of this week, but unfortunately we ran out of time because of our Elliott wave modules for our private members. So we'll hopefully look to start doing that next week. So let us know down in the comments what altcoins you want charting, and I'll pick a handful of them and throw up some charts. If you don't already follow us on Twitter, get yourself over there. Links in the description down below. If you're not in our Discord, our free Discord, then it's worth joining, because the amount of alpha that gets shared in this Discord, I even, we posted one on Twitter yesterday, where, one of our members, for the long trade that we talked about just a minute ago, one of our members, Dave, posted this as an area of interest, which lo and behold was this here, and that trade played out pretty well. So, there's our trade to back it up. So yeah, if you're not in our Discord, get yourself in our Discord. There's no signals given, but people share ideas, I share ideas. And obviously if you want to take your learning to the next level, then check out our website. The link for the free Discord, by the way, is also on our website if you click this Discord logo here. And if you do want to start learning along with us, then come check out our paid service. Now, our paid service is not a signal service. It's access to over 60 hours of video content, so you can learn everything from simple SR levels through to fibs, harmonic patterns. We've nearly finished our Elliott wave series now. We've got how to enter trades, how to manage risk. We've got so much stuff on there, it's unreal. But yeah, that's it for now. So, as I say, level to level, either looking for a swing failure pattern of the highs here. If not, then coming up into this red zone here. If we start coming down, then we're looking around our value area low. And if not, ultimately, the overall range lows. So, dead simple, level to level. And don't get greedy. Lock in profits no matter which direction you're trading. Alright, gang, that'll do. As you were. Bye-bye.